Well, I do spend a lot of time working on plots. It's I'd say if I spend 2 years writing a book, normally I will spend 1 year before I start writing, chapter 1 and start the story. And during that time, I have worked on, like you said, a multi-layered plot. I think that all storytelling is about conflict. It was probably Aristotle who taught us that too, it's not enough to have the conflict on an outer level like you have in a crime story. Normally, I mean, somebody has killed somebody and somebody's trying to solve the murder and somebody's trying to get away with murder, so you have a conflict there. But in most crime stories there is also a conflict on the inner level, and in Harry Holt's case it's of course his struggle with himself and his fight to try to live a life that he's happy with, which is quite difficult in Harry's case. But when I work on that, is sort of the easy part, or the part that I do in my writing. But constructing the plot is sort of a different kind of work. I feel like more like an engineer when I work on the plot, and I like to have the plot being crystal clear before I start writing, so that I can have the feeling that when I'm starting to tell you a story, I can say, come sit closer, because I have this great story to tell you, and it's, trust me, because I'm not going to make this up as we go along. The story is already there. My only job as a storyteller is not to destroy the perfect story. Of course, I will destroy the perfect story because I will never, reach perfection. But that is, the sort of the state of mind that I like to be in when I start telling a story. Just like when I grew up and my father and aunts and uncles would tell me stories, they wouldn't create the story as they went along. They would just retell the same old stories, and those were the stories that I wanted to hear, and that made me trust the storyteller. Well, I don't know if it's like I said, I've been a journalist and a stockbroker and a writer, and I'd say the common thing is that it's all about lying, I guess. So strange, I make a living lying. No, but it's, I'd say, apart from the stockbroker thing, I would say that being a writer is actually lying, trying to say something that is true, using lies. And I mean, I grew up with a father who was, when we had dinner at home, we were 3 brothers and my father, and we would all fight to tell stories. But my father, he was the boss in the family, so he would tell the longest and the best stories, of course. But I realized at a young age that 8 out of 10 stories would be, huge exaggerations, and the 2 last stories would be right out lies that he just made up. But whenever we caught him in a new lie, he would always refer to the German scientist Sepp Windler, who in 1968 won the Nobel Prize for research where he proved that in families where they lie on a regular basis, the average lifespan is 7 years longer. And so I sort of concluded that you know, my work is healthy. Last part first. No. I haven't thought about that. The first part, no, I didn't feel like it was a prophecy. I mean, what happened at Utøya in Oslo, I think for most Norwegians feel like almost like natural disaster. It wasn't like something that was bound to happen, like it was some development in the Norwegian society or the extreme right wing that would sooner or later lead to what happened. It was like something that just came out of the blue sky. It was, probably there was a great deal of luck involved in his operation that he succeeded so well. If he hadn't succeeded, let's say he had been stopped, before he was able to commit the first the explosion outside the government building, we would probably never hear about him. At least we would talk about him now, And we know that these things happens a lot, that people are stopped before they are able to carry through their plans. So I say that no, there's nothing in, you're talking about the Red Breast, the book where I'm dealing with Neo-Nazism in Norway. And no, I don't feel like there's a straight line from those milieus that I'm describing in that book and to the mass murderer at Utøya. They have a slightly different political background. I say they come from different places. And of course the Red Breast deals not only with neo-Nazism but also people that joined the German Nazis during the Second World War in Norway. And actually a more important part of that novel is how a country, especially a young country like Norway, are so eager to tell the story that they want their countrymen to hear, and especially the young generation growing up after World War II in Norway, to sort of portray Norway as this country full of people in the resistance movement, while there were at the first half of the war probably just as many Norwegians joining the Germans and fighting against the Russians on the East Front.